do what I do. Yeah, this is how I do what I do. Who the fuck is you? Making
Yo, so what's up, legends? So, today is the day that we're actually going to go over how to improve your aim for Apex Legends and what I do and what tricks I utilize to improve my aim. Granted, I am not a pro, and there might be a couple things wrong with this video, but this is what I do and it's been working for me. So, I wanted to share what I have learned since basically January till now. Um, because that's when I started taking Apex seriously, and I wanted to improve my aim, as you guys know. And if you don't, I used to play World of Warcraft for like 12 years religiously, and in January I decided to make the switch completely over to Apex Legends. Even though I was playing the game here and there, I wasn't good at it at all. I was freaking awful. I was a noob beyond noobs. I was the king noob. But yeah, that has changed lately, and then my games have been a lot better. My aim has improved tremendously over the last couple of months. And I wanted to share, what I've learned with you guys. So without further ado, the first thing that I do, right, the main thing that I do that has helped me tremendously is an FPS trainer called Kovacs, right? There's Kovacs is on Steam. I am not sponsored or endorsed by them at any point in time, or I just wanted to share with you guys this program and what it's really good for and meant to use for it. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Right, we're gonna jump right into it. Let's go. Bam. So yeah, this is Kovacs, right? This is Kovacs. As you guys see, you have little targets moving around, and they have a ton of scenarios, right? But what I find very important before any jumping into Apex at all, before any single match, right? Before I think about jumping into Apex, what I do is I have a playlist, right? So when you get Kovacs, it's like $10 or less on Steam, right? Depending if they have a sale going on or not. I believe they do right now. But you guys should just check it out on Steam. If not, they also have a free one called Aim Labs, right? That one's really highly rated, and there's a couple of other ones that might be free. But I use Kovacs, and I really like Kovacs for simple reasons of they have settings that you could set up your Apex settings. Now there are videos on YouTube that show you the settings that you have right here to set everything up. Um, and it could not be exactly as your Apex sense, but this is not the point. This is not the point to have your exact Apex settings, right? Even though recently with all the updates that they have done to this game program, it really does seem very close and very similar if you just have your sensitivity scale set to Apex, and if the FOV measurement is set to Apex. It really seems perfect because I've tried, trust me, I have tried all the other videos that are on YouTube, how to get your Apex sense and everything in Kovacs. And after putting in all those settings and going through the calculators and manually doing everything and inputting it, it didn't feel right. For one, it did not feel like my Apex sensitivity. Maybe I did it wrong. I tried it 5 times. I don't think I did it wrong. While rewatching the videos and trying to getting the same exact outcome after doing it a couple of times, either was too stretched. The FOV did not feel the way it was supposed to. The sense did not feel the way it was in game. And even when I measured the 360 measurement of going around what it was in Apex to what it is in Kovacs was not the same. So yeah, you know it might work for you guys. It did not work for me. What works for me is just setting your settings to Apex Legends, putting in your your ADS, not ADS, I'm sorry, your regular sense, your hip fire sense, right? And yeah, that is bad, but you know, we'll get through it. Trust me, I'm gonna cover everything in this video that you need to know, right? And FOV measurement is Apex Legends. I recently lowered it from 100 to 98. There's a reason why for that, and I'll get into that when we jump over to Apex. Because even when I'm done with Kovacs, I go into firing range in Apex. But I wanted to show you guys some of these settings, some of these things that I do, right? And we're gonna turn on some music for this, right? Because I'm gonna show you guys the value of my warm up session, right? So my hey, didn't play. Right? So the first thing that I usually do, hold on, I gotta move my keyboard out of the way because it's going to be annoying. Move. So basically, this is the first one, right? As you guys see, it does all the angles. It's basically going to do all the angles. So you warm up and get a feel for movement for every single direction that you might need, right? So which is very important and very good. So I'll just show you guys. Like I have the bullets turned off, the guns turned off, because you don't need to see that while you're, just warming up. You do not need to see that. Alright? So as you guys see, we're warming up. We're warming up with this. This is actually really good. And granted, I am not the best. I am still tweaking my sensitivity and trying to figure out that's the hardest part about like aiming and improving your aim is finding the correct sensitivity of yours. And no, do not go copying ACU's sensitivity. Do not go copying Alberlele's or Shroud's. It's not worth it. Every person's movement and experience and everything in your life factors into your sensitivity, right? Everything from your gear, from your mouse pad, everything affects your sensitivity, and you should fine tune it to your own preference. Sensitivity is a preference, and obviously you will see what works for you, what doesn't work for you, what makes you over aim, what makes you under aim. It is very important, right? And I know that session was terrible. It was nowhere near my current high score. That's another thing I really like about this game is that there is a leaderboard bracket, so you could see who's doing good, who's not. If you're hitting over average, which average is like the middle ground, right? Your median, aka the center, what is the middle barrier, right? All right, so in this one we're actually going to try, and granted I started making this video without any warm-up in this, so this is like normally what I would go through, and basically a couple minutes of this and I feel like I'm warmed up for just this portion because I have an extensive warm-up for you guys. Now there's a couple of things that I still need to upgrade to become better at FPS. One is I'm working towards upgrading my monitor. I recently found a monitor that I want, alright, that will work for my system, that will have the right specs and finally bring me into the world of 144 Hz refresh rate, which just hurts. Alright, we did a little bit better that time. We're basically at average. So the next one on the list, I have a couple. So axis tracking, very important. The next one is one target by one target. Right? Then we have pass you dodge. I have a lot. This is my extensive like warm up session. This takes about an hour and a half to get done. Sometimes I redo things. The most important, I believe, to me, is the axis tracking, right? Which is, I do 10 scenarios of that. I repeat that amount 10 times, right? So the wall, one target, I feel is also really good because that gets you warmed up to, if you're flicking, right? This is like good for the warm up, like the low warm up of um your wingman shots, your sniper shots, your single fire ARs. You know, there's a lot of guns. We're not gonna go, or even shotguns. You know, but this is what it looks like, right? It's just one medium-sized ball, and it spawns at random spots, right? And you just want to complete this as fast as possible to get a score, right? As you guys see, this is pretty easy. I over-aimed a little bit over there. I haven't had enough G Fuel yet, so that's my excuse. You guys see, even like really fresh, there's still stuff like you could fine tune out and warm up basically your wrist, your arm, so these mistakes don't happen in your first game, in your first match that you jump in, and you could just, you know, when you do jump into Apex, you can jump in nice and warmed up, and your arm is ready to go, you know? Unless you have a huge background in FPS, doing warm-ups is very important, and I choose to do it with Kovacs. Right, and also in firing range, which we will get into shortly, and I'll show you guys some of my wingman drills. Right, because lately I did finally unlock the battle pass, 110 wingman skin, so I finally completed the battle pass completely, and I've been pushing a lot with trying to get good with the wingman. Finally, it's about time. It's about time, and we're gonna master that weapon eventually. Alright, so we'll do this one more time, just for you guys. Oh, I double clicked by accident. Yeah, I know, I'm still not the best, but this is just like, this is me in a warm-up session. I haven't played today, I haven't, like, it gets better, like, I do a lot better, actually. Alright, so one target, one wall, right, hitting 72 targets, we hit actually 76 targets and 60 seconds, right, and we shot 80 times, so we missed 4 shots. Happens, you know. You could move. I could have moved a lot faster, hit all my shots. As you guys see, I'm just warming up, and these are like, this is an extensive warm up session to like go over all points of aiming that you might need throughout your game. Well, guys, you got to keep in mind, right? All professional athletes, they practice way more than they actually play and perform and compete. So let's say basketball players, they practice 6 to out of 5, somewhere between 5 to 7 days a week, and they only maybe play a game once or twice a week, right? Why do you think that is? So they could, you know, not only master, like pros practice so they don't get it wrong. We need to practice so we can start getting it right every single time. You don't understand what I'm saying? So pros practice so they don't get it wrong ever. We need to practice to start getting it right, right? To get to that pro level. That is the goal. That is the aim. That's where we want to be at the top of the charts, right? So next one is this pass you dodge, which as you guys see, it's a little bit different. It's also for, you know, your wingman skills, right? If you miss 5 times, you get an extensive reload, and it takes a lot longer. But this is a pretty easy version of this. There are way harder ones. Alright, and we're still, you know, not like there. As I said, there's a lot of scenarios. Like, look at that. It's not good. I blame that on my monitor. But yeah, this is one of the things that I used to warm up. One of the scenario. Oh my god. Why is there? My phone is on my mouse pad where it's not supposed to be. Oi, oi, oi. But yeah, Kovacs is very, very good. Now this, like, it might not bring up your Apex aim, but what it does teach you, like, is mouse control, right? So mouse control is very important in any FPS shooter, just because you want to be able to control your mouse and move and react to the way you're supposed to. Now, granted, since this is another game, runs on a different engine, it if it runs on the same engine, my mistake, but I'm pretty sure it runs on a different engine. It's not going to be exactly the same. It's not going to feel exactly precisely the same no matter what settings you put in. Trust me, it will not. You know. But yeah, so this is, I sort of want to warm up like completely with you guys to before I even like jump into Apex, right? So this might take a little while. We're gonna go through all the scenarios, right? And even when I'm done with my warm up, right? I'm not done warming up. Like, I still have like another thing because there's like pre-made playlists that already automatically come with Kovacs, right? And let's say if you first get Kovacs, after you set up all your settings and put in your Apex settings, do not like if you don't have an FPS background like I don't, like the last FPS that I was good at was Halo 2, and as you guys know, that was only on console, Xbox exclusive actually. Um, So yeah, long time ago, of Xbox 360 days, many years ago, I was really good at that, going to like, local tournaments and actually, slaying out on those. But that stuff doesn't count. It's too old, man. It's too old. I don't use controllers. The broken aim assist on PC. But yeah. As you guys see, there's value. There's a lot of value in this, and even like let's say in this one, right? My high score still doesn't hit the medium, and that's fine. This takes time. It takes time to grow your skills. It's not gonna happen overnight. Absolutely not. You're not going to become from zero to hero and like and the snap of a finger of just downloading this program. It takes work to put in. I'm just reaching the 300-hour mark, and I got this program in April officially. You know what? We're actually going to jump to the next one, which is so the previous one was pass you, dodge, easy, right? As you guys see, easy mode. Emphasis on easy. This is Tile Frenzy, 180 straight tracking, right? So this is going to be a tracking scenario for your R99s, your alternators, your Spitfires, your automatic guns, etc. Right? And as you guys see, this one's also really easy. Just to warm up, they're moving slow, like really, really slow. We're going to get it to a faster paced one. Right? But this is like, you just really want to like speed up with this one. This one is basically your target switching warm-up. So let's say if you have to switch targets and flick to targets really quick and continue track, this one's just like an easy like snapping while continuously shooting warm-up. I do very few of these. I even sometimes skip it, but it's just it's part of the list that I made. It's part of the playlist, right? As you guys see, this one's pretty easy. I wasn't even trying in this one, to be honest. I wasn't. I was just I'm trying to demo it for you guys. Now the next one, we're actually going to skip to this Smoothness Trainer. Like for tracking, this shit right here, this scenario is like creme de la creme. This is the stuff that you want to spend hours for if you have a problem with tracking, right? So basically, this will do is help you. It's not difficult, right? But what you want to do is be able to go smoothly back and forth with the target. All right. Now I'm gonna show you. You see? So it's a very easy, and you just try to keep on the target while shooting at it. Right? It goes back. And trust me, this is harder than it looks. It looks very easy. Everything looks easy, right? Everything looks easy. This is not easy at all. It's consistently stay on the target. See, and it restarts at it changes position at random intervals. All right. As you guys see in this one, we are above, average. But yeah, not this time. uh, next, can target switch. All right, this one is very good. So you can't miss, right? When let's say if you do too many misses, you gotta reload. You have a magazine of 21, right? So this one also helps with your tracking, and it also implements oh, you gotta be careful, how you're aiming. If you miss too much, which I'll show you guys right now, let's say you miss too much, see, you gotta reload, and you can't shoot during that reload time, so you lose time for your high score. But it's not even important of your high score. You shouldn't worry about that you're not the best or let that even affect your mindset. You're here to get better, right? You shouldn't compare yourself to any other people that are in here that spent thousands and thousands of hours working on their aim. It takes time, and sometimes you shouldn't overdo it. I do sometimes I pick a day and I do an 8 to 12 hour session in here, all right, just to get just to take work and really finesse on something, especially when I tweak my aim and it's a major tweak, when it's not just a little small change. So this one I find it good. It's definitely a good warm-up, so you're mindful of your ammo, like how I'm forced to reload before I can shoot at more targets. It's very important. Oh, no, we just need to take one more bullet. And there's a lot of settings that you could set up in here. You can see where your bullets go. I have that disabled. It's hit scan. So most of the scenarios are hit scan. There are some that help with recall, but with recall, I really recommend doing that in game, which I'm actually going to make videos on how to master specific guns and how to get better with their recoil patterns, and how to even identify their recoil patterns and how you should input. But that'll be in the next videos that are going to be coming up. So the next one that we have is Ascendant tracking version 4. Right, we do that 5 times. Alright, so as you guys see, there's many different levels. There's 3 bots active, or 3 targets active at a time. It's really good, especially with your tracking. This one does have unlimited ammo, so you don't have to worry. You just keep spraying and trying to really master. And there's different depths, so different ranges. I don't use the ADS setting at all in here because can't really set up your ADS. That's one thing. You could set your hipfire to be your ADS sensitivity, right? But that's, destroys the point. Because I use, I master the ADS inside the game, right? Because it changes the FOV, and I don't want to keep messing around with the settings every single time, especially where I have them, where the game feels really close to Apex. Alright, so this is Ascendant tracking version 4. Another really good tracking scenario that I use for my warm-up routine. Now, I don't expect you guys to copy and mimic exactly all these, but at least pick out 5 scenarios that you think you could work on, you need help with, and you should work on, are really good to do before jumping into any games. Absolutely, I'll stand by that every single time. It's better to warm up in a different program or in the firing range before you jump into matches, because you don't want to, like, I tanked my KD like really bad, and I don't want to make a new account. Like, I do have a Smurf account that I play around with friends sometimes, and we just troll and do crazy stuff. On that one, I have a positive KD. On my main account, oh hell no, I don't have. Like, I did too much stupid shit, leaving games because I didn't get characters, or dumb teammates pissing me off, or saying wrong things in game, and I would just leave, and that tanked my KD really badly. And I've been working on trying to get into the positives since season 3, since the end of season 3, because that's when I started taking Apex seriously. But yeah, so the next one we have target switch 360. We're gonna just jump to the next one. Right, so this one's pretty easy, right? You have a 360 palette view, right? And it's just a bunch of big targets. It's pretty simple. It's just to get you comfortable with looking around in that 360, format where, targets spawn, and getting used to, like, I have a really humongo large-sized gaming mousepad, right? And it's a closed mousepad, so I feel like it slides pretty well. This one's pretty easy. I don't know. I like it to sometimes, like, mess around, like, doing, let's say, like, hold on, like practicing my, 180 turns, stuff like that. All right, so the next one is Tau Frenzy 360 Strafe 400%. Now this one's a little bit harder, right? It's actually, I think, one of the hardest ones that they have and this one's going to be a clicking one, right? So you're going to be practicing your basically click. So for your wingman, your G7 scouts, for a single shot, quick shots. Snipers wouldn't really affect, because, unless you count the longbow, even though that rechamber is a little bit too long for this one. Alright, so as you guys see, targets are moving way faster. You have a 360 scope, 360 playground. Let's use that word, yeah. 360 playground. Alright, to, like, shoot around 360 scenario, so you can move around in a 360 manner. These targets move pretty quick, and as you guys see, I still miss shots every now and then, but it's good. Like, I do have tricks for this. Usually, I try to pick, like, a center point where I'm comfortable and just, focus on targets that are bringing me back to my point of view when targets are just coming in. That's like my strategy for, like, these kinds of scenarios. But it's definitely good to, let's say, if there's a cluster, to, like, track and, like, move in a, like, 360 manner, and completely, like, working it from left to right. It's very important. Next, right? This one I like to mess around with a lot. It's really good. It's one wall, one target, small. So, like, you guys remember this one, the second scenario that we did? That one was fairly easy, right? Alright, well, this one is a lot harder. A lot harder. As you guys see, the target is really tiny. Really tiny. And this will help you with your micro adjustments. And you want to basically always work on these and try to go as fast as you can. I'm not really going to be trying right now, because I'm just demoing this for you guys of what I do, how do I improve my aim, right? And there's, I find a lot of value in Kovacs. I'm gonna say that probably like a million times in the video. I find a lot of value in Kovacs, and I definitely do think that it is a worthy investment, especially if you want to bring your game to the next level. Instead of buying some packs and Apex, right? Spend it on Kovacs. But if you don't have the money to spend it on Kovacs, download Aim Labs. It's also on Steam and it's free. It's a little bit different. Calibration is a little bit different. I tried it out. It's cool, but I have everything so fine-tuned and the way I like it, and working on the things that I want to work on specifically. I just find Kovacs easier to navigate. I'm more comfortable with it. That's why I use Kovacs. You know. But yeah, so as you guys see, that one was a little bit harder. Got nowhere near to the score that I wanted to. I was just wanted to show you guys as a demo. With this one, we're like way above, average. Not a lot of people use this one. There's only 531 entries on this one, but it is something that's really good for the wingman that I found. All right, and the next one is one wall, 6 targets. Right, this one has a shitload of entries. Right, a shitload, and as you guys could tell, we are above average. All right, so the previous one will actually help you a lot with getting better with this one that I have in a playlist. As you see, there's a bunch of targets, and you can like plan out a route, but the game does like to mix you up and throw you with a target that's like close by. Now with this one, I have done it a lot. I am not warmed up usually as I am by the time like I get to like this level, this scenario in my warm-up routine. So don't make fun of me. Well, you can make fun of me. It's fine. Just, don't be hurtful. Like, I am not a pro, but I am here to work on my aim, and also to help you guys, improve your aim. If you're having difficulties, if you're having trouble, some of these scenarios, maybe you do have Kovacs, but you just weren't introduced. There's over 4,500 scenarios in Kovacs. There's a ton. So there's a high possibility that you're like me and you haven't tried all of them. You look for specific things, which is another cool thing in Kovacs that you could do, and select specific things. All right, so the next one is anti-mirror long strafe 360. All right, now this one right here, guys, it's a little bit different. For the first time, we're actually going to implement movement and tracking. Now, this is something that I still struggle with a little bit, and I recently, like within the last week, started to focus on this one. Right? So basically you move and you want to be moving the opposite direction of the target to maximize your score, right? Because usually this is the hardest thing in any FPS to do, is going the other way while keeping your cursor on the target that's moving the opposite way as you are. Because moving the same way, you can just keep it in place. But when you're moving the other way, you have to counter strafe, counter aim to your strafe, and to their strafe. So as you see, the targets aren't moving in place, but you want to be moving to basically the other direction that your target is. All right, or you could even add a little jiggle to it. As you guys see, that jiggle really fucked me up. But it is what it is. Alright, so the next one, we have Ascendant Tracking version 2. It's basically the same thing as version 4. It just has a little bit different movement, which I like. So I added it in. As you guys see, they also jump around, a little bit more unpredictable. It's really, really good. And, I found value in that for, tracking. And as you guys see, I go from clicking to tracking to target switching. I mix it up to not have everything in uniform, and have my wrist and the arm ready for everything, because I'm half and half. I'm actually on the lower spectrum of sensitivity, right? Because my sense is 1.4 in Apex, and in Kovacs, and my DPI is 800. Right, so if you like calculate the EDPI, it's on the lower spectrum, which I'll show the EDPI on screen. Because basically what you just do is you multiply your DPI times your endgame sensitivity, and that equals EDPI. Which for some games, I feel like they should add to the equation FOV. Oh, this song is funny. As you guys see, this one has a lot of value to it. Just for the unpredictable movement, yeah, we didn't do that good. But as you guys, as I said, probably times in this video already, I'm not focusing on hitting the top score. I'm focusing on demoing what I do and which scenarios I play. Right, and we're almost done. We're breezing through them. So the next one is adjust to track. Right, this one's pretty cool. I found it recently. There isn't a lot of people playing this one. Oh, I actually grew a lot recently. But yeah, so this one you have two targets, right, and they move very slowly, and this will help you with your micro tracking. All right, so let's say the target's moving very little. Alright, or if they're far away, this will help you with that small adjustments. Now if you're over aiming or under aiming, let's say if you can't keep up with it, or if you're over jumping, let's say like that, your sense is too high. And you'll never get to where you want to be. And trust me, I was one of those stubborn people that was playing at 2200 DPI. Right, and thought that no, it's gonna be fine. I just have to master it. Nah. If your sensitivity is too high, if it's out of the range of, if you're beyond EDPI is over 2000, you're not going to have a great time. You're not going to be able to master micro movement. It's impossible, because you'll move a fraction of a centimeter, and you'll move like 3 inches, and there's no middle ground like end game, right? So you gotta be mindful. Like there's a limit where you want to fall into the EDPI spectrum. I would say it's your EDPI has to be anywhere like on a really low spectrum. Let's say 800. That's like really low and really aggressive. To 2000. Like 2000 is like it's crazy. It's crazy high, but that's like the maximum you want to be. I actually want to show you guys the next scenario. Alright, so Tell Frenzy 180 strafing 300 tracking, right? Now this one I just do 1 or 2 to warm up for the next one, which is a lot faster, where the targets move really fast. So this one, yeah, it's, as you guys can see, it's only a 180 degree viewing that you could have. And targets move way faster than the one we had earlier. But it's still not like maximum speed. It's not the maximum potential. As you guys know, like some targets move really fast, and especially like up close targets, which these targets aren't that fast. Tracking on them is good. Like another thing that I really like to do is sometimes I'll while I'm aiming at the targets, I'll put in the recoil patterns for specific guns while I'm doing it. And that's just, for shits and giggles. Because most of the time, in Apex, I won't be standing still and shooting. I'll be strafing, where then the recoil pattern is slightly reduced and is slightly easier to control. Alright, so the next one is basically same thing, 400, just doesn't have the ing at the end. Alright, and that's a lot faster. Alright, these targets are a lot faster, a lot harder to hit and stay on target with. Why are they all staying on like the right side? And you also do like sometimes you don't want to like completely follow out with the target. You want to switch targets because they'll come back to get a high score. You know, that's my little trick. I try to stay like in the center or focus on the targets that are moving to the center because they'll come back. They don't reset. Their health bars don't like they don't heal up. You know. As you guys see, I'm nowhere near warmed up where I normally like to be, but I am skipping through the scenario. And the last one, this one's really hard. There's an easier version of this called pressure aiming 7 targets. 10 targets is like out of this world, alright? I'm gonna show you guys right now. Alright? So these targets come at you. They get bigger and bigger and then they retract and completely disappear. Yeah, I am nowhere near to where I'd like to be before I get to this part of my warm-up. And this one I only do a few times because it is an extensive scenario where it's like for 2 minutes. You know, so it's pretty huge, pretty big. Warm-up. And this is excellent for your wingman skills. You know, it's for those single target attacks. And as you guys see, I'm just demoing. I'm not really trying too hard. I'm letting some targets hit me. Also, when the targets hit you in this one, right, it sort of like deducts from the score. Like, you could only take so much damage. But this will basically teach you to prioritize targets, you know, to react in stressful situations. If you feel pressure or like panic in certain situations, this will help you get over those panic scenarios where you won't like freak out in game. I mean, sometimes, you know, it still happens to me where like a target pops out of nowhere and I get scared. Actually had it happen to a rat scared me like last week, which, you know, I'll show you guys. How's this zone? Oh, it's a mysterious one. Whoa! Holy shit, that scared the shit out of me. Oh my god. But yeah, this one is pretty intense. It's a longer scenario. It's a lot harder. And you know, it's hard to get a high score on this one. It's hard. Which I'll show you guys as soon as it's done in like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's done. Alright? So the medium for this, there's 44,000 entries, right? And the median score, right, is negative. So that's the average, right? That's the average score of everyone that entered, of their high score. The average is negative 543. As you guys see in this score, we got 1,602, right? My current high score is 6,527. It's pretty good, pretty good. Not gonna brag, not gonna brag. It's pretty good. We're like, what, in the top 10%? It's nothing special. It's nothing. All right. So that's just my warm-up session. There's a lot that you could do in Apex. In Kovacs, right? So one thing is, so the local playlist, right? These are your local playlists. There's a lot of pre-made ones that they already have, right? So, and when you first jump into Apex, I highly recommend you actually starting from the beginning, clicking, tracking, then going to core, right? Because you gotta work on the basics, right? You gotta work on the basics with the stuff that's easy and see if you're hitting your shots on the easy stuff. If you need to work on your sensitivity, if you need to adjust it, you know, to get it where you need it to be, to get to the level of gaming and aiming and FPS games that you want to be at, right? Hold on, this needs to be deleted. Right, and they have, you know, a bunch. They even have one for Valorant that came through. Hard mode is something I made. And let's say I'll show you guys like the hardest the hardest scenarios that they have. So let's say goated clicking, right? I'll just show one, right? Like these targets are so hard and like unpredictable to like freaking hit. You know, I recently, like over the last 2 weeks, started working on these. I am nowhere near warmed up before as I like to be before I jump into this. My aim is like all over the place. Yeah. This is what I do to get like better, guys. So there's also something else in here that I'm going to show you guys. That's really, really cool. Alright, and really, really good. That's also part of Kovacs. That it's still like in beta form, right? They're still like working on it and adjusting it and tweaking it all the time. Yeah, I know. I'm still bad. I'm not good. I know. That's why I'm here, to get better. I'm actually trying right now. I'm not warmed up. It's where I like to be at all. Like, look, I only hit 10 targets. My average, honestly, on this is like 18, right? 18, 15. And I just started messing around with this, like, last week, to be honest. 100% honest. I just started going into these goated sessions because I know how hard they are. But yeah. So that's on this side of this, spectrum. You can also have like local scenarios where you could like custom make stuff. Like you could pick a scenario and then edit it, right? Like downloaded it onto your PC and edit it the way you like to have it. Like I have one wall, 35 targets. I forgot which one is small, but see, challenge it, and if you just want to, click out or like de-stress, this is like excellent for de-stressing. This is just something I made. It's silly. But yeah, another thing, they actually have a personal like AI trainer where I use this sometimes. Now, it is not easy. The best thing, this could work so far for overnight or Fortnite. I'm overnight, Overwatch or Fortnite, right? And I mainly work on the wingman equivalent of the gun. Now, on the beginning, it's pretty simple. It's pretty easy. And one thing that like people don't like about this is that you have to recenter, which I'll show you guys. Like, let's do that one. Alright, so that's like the final test exam before you advance to the next level. Right? So a lot of people don't like stop using this because it has like you have to basically go center to here, because if you don't center to there, it won't respawn another target. And this is pretty good to work on your flicks, That's cool. Oh shit. I'm actually trying to flick. This is actually for flicking scenarios, so you want to, every single shot, you actually want it to be a flick for it to count. Like, if you just like, oh, I'm going to hit him, it's not going to really help you pass the level and get the maximum score. You actually have to flick. I haven't done this in a while, actually. I've like moved beyond this. But it is actually, as you guys see, it's good to go back to basics. That's why I said, try doing those easier playlists every now and then. It'll help you fine-tune the basics. Right? See, that wasn't like good enough, and this only like tracks your flicked shots, right? So we actually total headshots 36, targets spawned. How many targets were killed? Does it show? I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot. Way higher than the flicked ones. No. We actually don't want to retry it. Right? But then when you get to like a harder one, like let's say this one's just fucking insane. I can't pass it. Right? I barely passed this one. You know, you guys don't know how much like stress I gave them to like work on this specific level because there was a lot of things that was wrong with it. But as you guys see, you don't longer have to reset once you get to a higher level. Right? And it's way harder to like flick to, like, I still haven't gotten a flick this scenario. Shit. It was like really hard for me to pass this level. Yeah, I'm nowhere warmed up to like where I would like to be today, but I just wanted to demo for you guys what are the benefits of using Kovacs, which basically you gain mouse control. Now this is on a higher like level of this. It takes time and work to actually unlock this and get, you know, up here. But, you know, I don't mind showing you guys the harder stuff. And it's not always about headshots. Like, you want your flicks to, like, be flicks and hit. Like, you want to just be able to, like, you know, move fast and get to them. But that's on the Kovac side, right? Well, so let's quit. Let's get out of here. They have, you know, a couple of different guns that you could pick out, right? Depending on which thing you want to work on. And you do have to log in for this. Hopefully they'll have tracking and scoping soon. Alright, which I hope you could do settings for that. But I'm actually excited about the tracking. But yeah, that's going to be it for the Kovac side of things. Let's jump into Apex. I'll show you guys what I like to do in Apex Legends. So let's load this up. Blah, 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 blah. Alright, so we finally got to the firing range, right? And as you guys see, Revenant could wall jump. I'll try to do it again. I'll try. Oh no, this is too far. Now, yes, my sensitivity is different than most people, as it should be. You know, it should be custom to everyone else. Actually, I was thinking about something last night, where I noticed since I changed my FOV, I need to lower this thing. And one thing you guys might have not noticed, you don't have to like lower it by a full number. You could do a fraction. Eureka! Alright? So I think 2 numbers is as high as it goes. Yeah, you can't put, so. Because like in certain trackers or something calculators, let's say if you're coming over from a different game, it has longer numbers, like up to 6 even after the decimal point. Right? In Apex, it's up to 2. As you see, it stays. And if you guys saw, I'll go back to my settings. As you see, like my settings are like all different. They're all custom. I don't use a keyboard. I use a gamepad. I use the Razer Tartarus B2, which is awesome. Basically, when I switched over from Xbox to PC, I couldn't fathom using 3 fingers for movement when it could be done with 1. Right? This is a newer version of the gamepad that I used to use, but it's I can't imagine you using WASD. It will just not work. Like my brain can't use 3 fingers, and how are you supposed to do everything else? Like, yeah, I could keybind it to my mouse because I have 12 buttons on the thumb. I also use the Razer Trinity, and I'm using the Naga edition of the attachment, this part. So that's the mouse that I use. That's the gamepad that I use to, you know, put in all inputs into the game, or you know, my jump, move, abilities, ultimate is W. Right, everything else is on the mouse pad, or let's say on the spec button. But that's not what we're here for. We're here for the wingman, right? So right here, I'll show you guys what scenarios I do to warm up with the winger, right? And I max it out every single other gun, right? You never want to, like, to practice, let's say, we'll go over in those videos, but basically you never want to pick up any of these unless you want to practice actually recoil control with them on. But first you want to master, like, the guns naked, alright, without anything that, like, decreases aim assist. Not aim assist, sorry. That decreases recoil. So one thing I like to do is shoot at the dummies, as everyone does, but that's, you know, that's like low level obvious stuff, right? So usually what I do is 1, 2, 3, shoot him again to centered. Right? You do that from different angles, right? And that's a full clip of the winger, right? Or you could, and then snap back to him. Alright, also learning how to hit those targets. You want to aim a little bit higher since they're further away. Alright, but that's what I like to do for the wingman. To warm up. Do this a couple of times. I actually did change just my ADS sense, so I actually want to see if that's good enough or if it's too much. So we're actually testing something out right now. Yeah, I think that was the right calculation for the adjustment. Yup, it's pretty much on point. Right, now another thing, if you guys didn't know, you could get these dummies to actually move around. Alright? Now, the trick to this, right, you can't have a weapon equipped. Right? You could have full armor, full everything else equipped of what you need, and you could turn on the dummies. And I practice with the dummies. Now we have our all, might as well use the all, do something funny. Alright? Now, so you basically go to the one all the way to the right, right? You go the one all the way to the right looking at these, and you go up here, alright? You go up here, bada bing, bada boom. You crouch, face all the way down, hit your map button to switch characters. You hear that sound, that ding ding, right? That means you've activated the dummies. Oh, I missed it. You see? Now there's 3 levels of the dummies. There's the blue ones, which have shotguns, and I have blue armor. Right? The purple ones have L stars, and they're really annoying. They're fully geared out. And the white ones have hemlocks. You know, and there's a couple of things I like doing with them. I'm actually in freaking Octane. I do main Revenant, so we're going to practice Revenant because his height, like Legend's height, also does affect your aim. So say if you go to like a shorter character, it's already going to be like different levels of like aim. Now these targets are really easy to hit when you're standing still. So what I usually like to do is like Stay strafing. No, I know this guy came up on me. And remember, you can always character switch. If you're in a sticky situation, character switch, switch back. And you have full shields and health. Okay, so, but, you know, usually I like to challenge myself and just grab like an Evo shield and some heals. And just work with that. You know, give myself a challenge because you know you want it to be some kind of a challenge. But yeah, that's what I usually like to stay in firing range anywhere from half an hour to an hour. I think that's like the max that anyone could like stand in this place. But it's really good to stay in here, as you guys see. They do get really thirsty, and they do try to get the kill. But that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoy. And remember, stay training to improve your game so you can get better at Apex or any other FPS. All it does is take practice. Practice does make perfect. And that just takes time. So yeah, guys. Till laters. I'll catch you on the next one. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to slap that like button, hit that subscribe button, because the next videos are going to be coming out. I'm going to teach you guys how to master the recoil, let's say, of the Havoc, of the R99, of the Flatline, or any guns that you guys request that you want me to show you how to master it, and what tips and tricks I utilize to actually see the recoil pattern and have it as a reference at any point in time that I need. But yeah, guys, till then, I'm Remy Lordsky. I hope you guys enjoyed. Also, be sure to catch me live on my Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/Remy Lordsky. And yeah, the link will be down in the description. I'll catch you guys later. I hope you enjoyed. Peace out, homies.
And then I hit the top, only made it cause I said I wouldn't. I ain't never stopped, underrated cause I flipped that bag and I ain't never flopped. Ha.